نشأ توني كيتوس في الجزائر وهو يشاهد والدته تقضي ساعات في المطبخ مثل العديد من الأمهات العربيات. حمل معه هذا التأثير في إجازته إلى لندن عندما كان في 18 من عمره، وبعدما يقرب من 3 عقود أصبح كيتوس الآن أحد كبار الطاهي العرب في لندن، مع علامته التجارية من سلسلة مطاعم كونتوا ليباني ويلا يلا. استمع إلى قصة تصميمه على عرض الطعام والضيافة العربيين في المملكة المتحدة.
So I'm here with Tony Kitous, founder of Comptoir, Libanais, Yalla and Shawa. Tony, thank you so much for talking to me today. We were speaking before, and particularly about your definition of success and the journey you're currently on. So I want to go back to the start of that journey and ask what your first foray into business was.
I used to say, it started back around 1993 when I opened my first restaurant in Wigmore Street in London. But in fact, looking back, it's actually when I was a kid. I was like, I remember as far as 7, 8 years old, back home in Algeria, I used to sell, stadium tickets, lemonades and sandwiches. I think that's how really for me, I think that's my first memories. That's how I started.
What was your kind of situation growing up?
I grew up in a very small, humble 3-bedroom apartment with my mum, my dad, my 5 brothers, my sister, and my grandma. We're like practically 10 of us in a 3-bedroom apartment. For me, probably they were the best memories, and I cherish those memories very much, and I miss those memories very much.
Did that affect your outlook on work and earning money?
I was brought up in a family from that. My dad is very humble. Comes from, obviously, it's a working class. We come from a working class family. My dad used to work for the government, a small salary. But I was also surrounded by uncles from both sides of the family that some of them are self-made, some of them from my grandparents. They kind of had money. So I kind of grown up in an environment where my cousins are like my rich cousins, and I was the one that was not. I had that complex where I felt the difference, but that situation that probably pushed me to or made me the person who I am today.
When you're doing business, does family come into it? Is that a big influence on the way you do it? Do you see your businesses like families?
Well, to be honest, family is everything in life. What I do, what you do, what Steve Jobs does, what everyone does, it's still a job. Family, that's what we live for. That's what we breathe. My family is very, very important. My mom is very important. Who I am today is thanks to my family, thanks to the education they gave me, the values they gave me.
And I've heard you say before, you're Algerian, but your heart is here in London. What does that mean to you?
Once you're in London, you feel a Londoner. Because that's what makes London is a mixture. It's a mixture of different people, flavors, colors, cultures. The fact that everybody is mixing well together, everybody feels home. And everyone comes in from a different culture and they bring their own culture. And for me, yeah, of course, I'm Algerian. I was born in Algeria, a small city called Tizi, brought up there, have some fond memories.
You came basically to London with £70 in your pocket. And even on the first night you slept in London Victoria Station. So with all that, what was it actually that made you fall in love with London? Was it the buildings or the people? You said it's a melting pot, but what was it actually that you fell in love with when you first stepped foot onto the pavement in London?
It was, I think, straight away excitement. Wanted to discover, wanted to see. It's new. I can remember it's almost like I had a huge smile inside and outside. And the first few things you see, like Victoria Station, Green Park, Buckingham Palace. So for me, when I did what I had to do, in terms of our Comptoir Libanais or Shawa or the other restaurants we've done, I always wanted to create a genuine experience. As if someone traveled somewhere in Morocco, Algeria, Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, and I think people loved it. It's something that people hasn't seen before.
The first impression I certainly got when I was walking up to it was, wow, this is a unique place. You walk inside and the decor is incredible. For you, is that part of creating that genuine experience? Is it the decor? Is it the food? Is it the hospitality? What is it that creates that unique experience for you?
It's everything. For me, I feel like if anyone that comes into one of our restaurants feels like he's coming into my house. The hospitality, whenever you have a guest, you give them the warmest hospitality, the warmest welcome. You feed them with your heart, extremely generous. And the design is part of our culture. You need to show off your house. You need to show off your culture. And this is how I trying to seduce people to get to know our culture and hopefully to travel to North African and Middle Eastern countries more often.
Did growing up in that apartment in Algeria influence your outlook on cooking and preparing food for other people as well?
No, I think it's not the apartment that influenced me. I'm sure a lot of things made me who I am today. Maybe we lived in a small apartment whilst the rest of my family lived in a bigger houses. Maybe it did, but at the time I did not see it that as an influence. It certainly made me a person who I am today, without a doubt. But also the fact that the apartment where I lived, it was practically across the road of the stadium. Whenever there was a football game, there's a sellout, it's practically 20 meters. So it was a common thing. You just go and do something, you go as a young boy, you go and buy some tickets very early in the morning, 6 o'clock, and you sell them again for a small profit. And when you run out of tickets, you start selling sandwiches, lemonades.
So do you think that Lebanese and Levantine food has already become part of the mainstream as a mainstream option, or do you think that there's still a way to go?
I wouldn't say they come from just out of nowhere. It's just people just started noticing it. Levantine food and Middle Eastern food and Arabic food has a history, a very rich history. Whilst a lot of popular food like burgers the burger that is one of the most popular food in the world has no history at all.
And that comes into what you've said about being an ambassador for your culture. In a video that you made about your story, you did describe yourself as an ambassador for your culture, certainly here in London. And do you feel that's a heavy responsibility that you have, being that ambassador and certainly being the ambassador for the cuisine over here?
That comment I made is very, I just want to make sure people understand it. Everybody that comes to London, from wherever they come around the world, they are their own ambassador of their own culture. They bring something with them. For me, I brought something with me, my culture, my knowledge, my memories, and as well as all the food, and trying to introduce people to our beautiful and generous culture. I'm genuinely very proud of who I am. I'm proud British Algerian immigrant Muslim that come from a small town in Algeria called Tizi. But this is what's beautiful about London, about Britain. They welcome everyone, and if you come here, with ambitions, with ideas, you want to do something, there is no limits. Sky's the limits, and the only limits there is the limit you put yourself. So yeah, for me, it's an important. I think it's beautiful to feel like you're an ambassador of your own culture.
What advice would you give to me, for example, if I was going to go home today and I wanted to try and cook Lebanese food at home for the first time? Where would you want me to start?
You know what? Start with going and buying some tahina, which is sesame paste. With that tahina, you can keep in your cupboard for a week. But I promise you, if you start knowing how to use tahina, it will not even last you a week. You become your one of the ingredients that you will use on daily basis. Because for me, this ingredient that is created by sesame, you can cook hundreds and hundreds of dishes, whether sweet or savory. You can make hummus. You can make babarnoush, which is smoked aubergine dip, or you can have it with falafel.
What's your favourite dish on your menus?
Wow, I'm super greedy. And I have to tell you, my dish that I really love, it's actually not a dish. It's a selection of mezze. I like to fill my table with so many different kind of mezzes, salads, dips, and just eat and feed. I remember as a little kid, special occasions, we have to have a big pot in the middle with 12, 14 spoons and kids eating around it. That's a beautiful experience. Sharing food for me, it's extremely important for me in my life. It's also is the joy of sharing food, is the joy of feeding.
So what's up next for you? What's the next challenge? You've got so many different avenues that you could go down. So what is it that you are looking to do next with with yourself?
Of course, I have something else inside of my head. That's probably the biggest challenge yet. Still to do with food. I love food, and probably I love to look. Don't get me wrong. What I'm doing, as I said, is challenging, but I feel like I do it. I know exactly, not exactly, but we know what to expect. But I love to do something that will challenge the hell out of me. Something super exciting, something that will make me not sleep at night. Not because I'm stressed, because I'm excited. I want to get, I want to make sure it's something that will change the way we eat. And and it will be a discovery for a lot of people.
And finally, do you have any words of wisdom to the young people looking to find their feet in business?
Okay, I think what's very important, a lot of people, when I'm having a podcast with a journalist, an interview, whether on TV, radio, whatever, they always highlight where I came from. I came with 70 pounds in my pocket. I slept in Victoria Station. I was squatting. Then we have, together with our team we built, our amazing team we built, a chain of 30 restaurants. They make it from 70 pounds to 30 restaurants. What people don't really talk is about what was in between. The tears, the blood, the sweat, the sleepless night, the anxiety, the stress, the loneliness. You need people to understand that this is part of the journey. There's a lot of challenges, and people make it sound. I remember once someone said to me, "Oh, you make everything you've done is easier." No, but that's what people that want to perceive. My advice to people is just say, dream big, but you also have to believe in your dream. But in order to achieve your dream, you need to focus, dedicate, give everything you can to make this dream happen. Yeah, and I think that's what it is. But you have to do something that you truly, truly love, something you enjoy. Because once you do something you love, it does not feel like you're suffering. It doesn't feel like work. And then eventually, all the challenges, all the hurdles that come along your way, you can deal with them because you know where you want to get. You know what your dream is all about. Make sure you realize that everybody that appears to have succeeded in their life, that it's not done on their own. It's about a team. Most of the businesses that succeeded, it took them 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It doesn't happen overnight. I might be the founder, my business partner is the CEO. However, we're not the one that wake up at 7 in the morning, that go and make sure they receive all the vegetables, they receive all the meat, and just prepare the food to cook and greet the people and make sure everything's set up. So they are the most important. They are the people that our eyes and soul when it comes back to the restaurant. So it is because of our passionate and amazing people that our restaurant reputation is based on. Yeah, if anybody wants to join us, just drop us an email on Instagram or Facebook, or on the website Comptoir Libanais or Shawa or Yalla, and then we'll love to hear from them.
Thank you so much for inviting me into your home, first of all, and talking to me today. It's been very interesting. I wish you absolutely the best of luck with all your future challenges. It sounds absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much.
من بيع الشطائر وعصير الليمون خارج ملعب كرة القدم في طفولته بالجزائر إلى افتتاح سلسلة متعددة من المطاعم اللبنانية في المملكة المتحدة، يعد توني كيتوس طاهن ورجل أعمال عصامي. كان من المفترض أن يكون قدومه إلى لندن مجرد عطلة، لكنه وقع في غرام المدينة وألقى رحلة فيها، فعمل نوبات طويلة بالمطاعم وعاش في سكن اجتماعي متقشف. دفعه شغفه بالطعام الشرق الأوسطي إلى افتتاح مطعمه الأول، الشام. يقول توني إن العنصر الحيوي لأي عمل ناجح يتمثل في العثور على الأشخاص المناسبين للعمل. وبالنسبة للعمل في مطاعمه، فالأهم أن يكون العاملون لطفاء. ويضيف أن الأمر برمته يتعلق بإظهار كرم الضيافة لضيوفك، وهو شيء يفخر به العرب على الدوام. على الرغم من تشغيل سلاسل مطاعم مثل كونتوا اللبناني والشوا ويلا يلا وتأليف كتب الطبخ، إلا أن توني لديه المزيد من الخطط للمستقبل، وبالطبع ستدور جميعها حول الطعام. نشكر ويل نيكولسون وتوني كيتوس لمشاركتهما في هذه الحلقة. هذا البودكاست إنتاج مشترك بين الفنار للإعلام وبوديوم.me، وبتمويل من منحة المعهد الدولي للصحافة IPI.